YouTube friends, and Happy New Year. I've got a new project that I want to share with you. This is something that I've wanted for a long time. I'll show you what's in this box. You can see it says Ashford. A few years ago I went to Edinburgh and did a weaving course. It was really interesting. I enjoyed it very much, and since then I've thought maybe I would like a loom of my own to do some weaving. So the one I used in Edinburgh was a 4-shed loom, an Ashford 4-shed, and it wasn't that it was complicated. I think it was just a little bit more complicated than what I would like to use. So I bought an Ashford rigid Heddle loom, and I've watched so many YouTube videos to get me started with this. There's a lot of different bits and pieces in here that I have to work out what I'm going to do with them to build this loom. And the thing that Ashford do is they send you these things unfinished, which keeps the price down a little bit and also means you can choose what finish you would like to put on there. I mean, you don't have to finish it at all, but I'm going to Danish oil mine, and I've bought some Danish oil, some gloves, some of this stuff and some cloths, and I'm going to oil the loom. And what's inside here? I've watched so many YouTube videos about this, and I am not pretending that what I'm about to do with you is the right way to do it. I'm no expert, but I'm a complete beginner. I'm really interested in finding out how to do this. I've got a plan in my head for what I'd like to do for the first project. It'll be a very simple project, the first one. But first of all, I'm going to look at all these things here and oil this loom. That's all the windy bits there. I'm sure they've got, oh, what I love, you know, about anything. Knitting, spinning, felting, quilting are all amazing names that you have for each of these crafts. And so, let's see what's inside this one. Loads of hardware. Okay, so that can stay in the box there, little bits of fixings and so on. I'm going to ask John to give me a hand to put this together because, well, he works with wood, but also when John was a little boy he built Lego models and all sorts, and he is very good at all of this stuff, much better than I am. So this is going to take a while. I've watched videos about Danish oiling as well, and this needs to be rubbed down after it's dry and then maybe 3 or 4 more coats put on. And I'd like to make a really proper job of this. So I'll show you when I've got to that stage and when the whole thing is finished. It's very beautiful wood though, and very beautifully made. So I'll see you in 1 second. Well, the whole thing's had 2 coats of this Danish oil and a good sand down in between times, and John says 2's enough. He had a look at it the other day. However, he's very busy. And so getting him back here for the hour it'll take me, hopefully, to put this together. I'm impatient, so I'm going to have a go at it today. I've got the instruction booklet here. It's all here, how to put the whole thing together. Plus I found a really excellent tutorial from Ashford about putting up this very loom. So between this and that, I think that I'm going to have a go at putting it together myself, because I've got a weaving project in mind and I want to do it. It's that weird time between Christmas and New Year where Christmas is all done and dusted and everything's been put away, and it's not quite New Year yet, and so nobody's properly back at work, or most people aren't. And so there's an opportunity to do some fun things, and this counts as a fun thing. So I'm going to take all the bits and pieces downstairs now, because I want to do it downstairs. I've got a big long room so that I can put a long warp out if that's what I want to do. But I have a project in mind. So let's take this downstairs and see how hard it is to put it together. It'll be fine. Well, that wasn't as hard as I thought. The video from Ashford Company was very, very good. The instructions were good, and I trusted my abilities, and I've managed to put it together, and I think it's correct now. So there's another lovely video from Ashford about warping up the loom, which is what I'm about to do now. So I've got everything in place. I'm quite excited. I am quite excited. So the wool that I've got is this big basket of yarn here, and this is the wool that I made my crochet blanket with in the cabin. That's a leftover granny square. I've got this blanket that I've been working on for probably at least 2 years, possibly even 3. And this is wool that I got from a company called IINOUIIO. It isn't over until it is over, and it's recycled yarn. It's something like 80% recycled yarn, 80% recycled fibres, and it's 90% wool. Now, I'm not sure if this will be all right to use for this project, but I'm just going to be trying this out. If I manage to make a piece of weaving here, then the plan is that I'll make it into another cushion for the cabin, because these colours will go perfectly, of course, with the crochet blanket that I made. And I'm making those 12-inch cushions using different disciplines for each one. Maybe you saw the video that I put out on New Year's Eve, which was all about the knitted cushion that I made from wool that I'd spun myself. And so this one could possibly be a woven cushion using these same yarns. I've got some lovely colours in here, and I'm not quite sure yet, because I've never done this before, just how much of each one I'll need. So I'm going to get them all out, and I'm going to decide how to warp it up, whether to use different colours in the warp. I think I will, and then different colours in the weft. So I'm going to choose my colours now, and then have a go at warping up this loom, again using the video from Ashford and the instructions. But I'm going to get these all out and see how much I've got of each one. Let's do that now. Okay, this is going to be almost impossible to film because I'll be walking up and down the table here, but I'll just quickly show you my thoughts about the yarn I might use. When I bought this wool, I bought 3 of each colour, and I bought 3 red and 3 black. This one, they've all got great names. This one's called, find the name, Bedtime in Batley, and this one's called By the Fire. It's a Yorkshire company, and all the names are beautifully evocative of Yorkshire culture. So Batley is a town in Yorkshire. Now, when I made the crochet blanket, I decided not to use the red and the black. I just didn't like them, either one. But in order to save the yarn that I've got, I don't think I'll use the red. I don't think it goes with any of these, but I might introduce a bit of the black and do black, maybe do a few warp strands of each of these colours. What do you think? And then a few strands, a few weaving rows, a few rows of warp of each of the colours. I think because this is going to be so hard to film, I think I'm just going to do it, warp up the loom. There's loads of great videos about how to do this, and I've been following all of them, but the Ashford one is really, really good. So I'll see you back here when I've warped up this loom. So I'm all warped up in this direction now, and what I've got to do now is cut it off at the end and roll it onto the roller here, and then do this. Is that right? Do the second bit of warping. Is that right? I'm going to watch the video, but the video says that it's helpful to do this with another person to keep the tension good on the warp. I haven't got another person, so I think I'll be looking at videos where just one person does it on their own. But now I'm going to work out what it is I'm doing next. It looks very nice though. What I chose to do in the end was 10 ins and outs, they're called something I'm sure, of the black, the pink, the green, the creamy colour and a blue. And it might be that when I come through then I'll do the same kind of thing with those colours and make, I don't know, hopefully make some sort of a checkerboard. I don't know. We'll see. This is all a massive learning curve for me, but now I'm going to find out what I do next, because I've got to thread one string of each of these through this little hole here. Okay, I think I've devised a way to do it with just me. Let's see if I manage it. So I kept the tension on the warp threads by having the loom slowly advance towards the peg. I have seen that somewhere else on a video, it's not my idea, but now I'm going to deal with the next bit, which is called dressing the loom, something like that. Okay, following the instructions then, these bits of cardboard that I put in stop the warp threads from sticking to each other and creating a problem. So now I'm going to thread one of each of these threads through the little holes, and this is the thing that will cause the weaving to have two parts to it, two sheds. So I'm doing this now. Just let me concentrate a second. Okay. And then I'm taking one of each of these threads and threading it through the right hand side of the reed. It's called the reed. I thought it was called the heddle. I think this probably can be a heddle and a reed, but it's a reed as far as I'm aware. Okay, so I'm going to thread these. Every pair is going to have one of them going through to the right hand side. I guess it wouldn't matter if it was the left, but I've started on the right now. I'll tell you an interesting thing is when I put the warp threads on here. I put the black on first, and now of course that's over on the left hand side. Not that that matters at all, but the pattern, if I had a pattern, would be the other way round now, wouldn't it? It would be right to left instead of left to right. But I haven't got a pattern. Just bear that in mind, I guess, if I have got a pattern going forward, because I'm already thinking of the next 10 projects I want to make on this loom. That method of keeping the threads under tension while I rolled it onto the back roller, I'd seen that on a video somewhere else before, and I did wonder if it would work, and pleased to report that it did. So I get all of these in here now, not missing any out. So I remember on that weaving course that I went on, spending the whole, it was a 2-day thing, and spending the whole of the first day putting on the warp. And I remember my friend Jane saying to me, well, it's half the cloth, isn't it? So it should really take as much time as it takes to do the weaving. It's half of the cloth. So I'm just going to do this half of the cloth. I hope I've chosen wool that will not be too... It might... I'm hoping it won't break is my main worry when it's under tension. It does snap quite easily, and so maybe that's a lesson I'll learn about choosing my warp threads. But I've got an idea that I might like to weave some of my own spun yarn. I think that would be lovely. Next project. Okay. There we go. There's lots of places where you can go wrong, but also it's not really... Can you see what I'm talking about? Let me move you a little bit. There we go. There's lots of places where you can go wrong, but also it's very repetitive. So you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you get into a rhythm of doing that. My back's aching. I'm going to have to be careful of that. And I haven't done the full width of the heddle, the reed, because I'm hoping to make a piece that's wide enough to make a cushion, and that looks about right to me. I haven't measured, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, can you see what I'm doing all right? I'll get back to you when I've done all of this part. Well, it's the next day now. I got up at 4:30 this morning, and at 5 o'clock I was weaving on this thing. It's very obsessive. I'm really enjoying it. I've learnt loads just on this first little test piece that I'm doing here. Loads. And I've also, I had a break. It's 11 o'clock now. I haven't been weaving that whole time. I actually took an hour or so off to do some research on YouTube and on the internet. And you know how people say they've been down a rabbit hole? I've been down a rabbit warren, looking at all these, firstly, people who weave on small looms like this one, then these massive, great big looms that people use, and then quite a lot about the history of weaving in Lancashire and Yorkshire. I'm from Lancashire, and I saw an amazing video about the Lancashire cotton mills, which a fantastic thing from the archives, which I'll try and remember to put a link to in the description below this. It was wonderful. Wonderful because there were all those fantastic Lancashire accents, which I grew up with. Anyway, I'm going to show you a closer look at this. I've made a few decisions about how I'm doing it. These spacer things here that go in the back of the, when you're rolling it on, this is a good indication as to how much warp you've got left on your back bar here. Now, there's all sorts of different ways of measuring that, and I saw a really interesting one this morning where, so some people use paper, put brown paper or craft paper in here, and there was one video I saw where the woman was numbering the papers, so as they came off she knew she was on number 6, number 5, number 4, whatever number. Now I know that I've got one more of these spacer things. These are to stop the warp threads from tangling together on the back bar, I think. That's what I thought. Anyway, I've got one left, so I haven't got very much warp left, which is great, which means that I'll be able to take this off soon. Now, at the beginning of doing this process, I did talk, didn't I, about how I was worried about this snapping, and it has. The warp threads have snapped a few times, but since I mended a few of those warp threads, it's not hard to mend them, you just have to thread a new piece through and tie it on, and then when I take this off the loom I'll be able to deal with those little bits that are unpleasant looking. But I've actually changed how I use this thing, the Heddle, and so this bit here is called beating, but I'm actually just tapping. I'm just going to call it tapping from now on, because you don't really need to hit it really hard. So the other thing that I've done is, I'll show you when I take this off the loom and I can show you more clearly. Right from the start I was uncertain about using this black. I don't really like black. I don't use much of it in my work. I think it's a very harsh colour, and so, but I put it on because I thought I might run out of wool. That was a stupid thing. I've got loads of wool, but what I've done is I've used this grey when I've woven back and forth in the same sequence that I've put the warp on. So black, pink, green, cream and blue. I'm on the blue now, but since I rolled it on a while ago, I've actually substituted the black for this grey, and I like how it looks a little better. Also, I think I could have been more diligent, let's say, about deciding how much weft to use. So I've been putting the weft on in a fairly arbitrary way and just weaving until I wanted to change, and so now I'm actually thinking more carefully about how much to use. And so when this does come off the loom, and if I do make it into a cushion for the cabin, which is my plan, then I think I'll probably use the second half or the second portion, because I don't know quite how long this is going to be. Another thing about this is I'm really enjoying it. I'm having such a great time. I'm absolutely loving it. Now, I've watched a load of videos of people who do this, and I've picked up a few little tips about the selve edges. So I think that the second part of this weaving, the selve edges will be less loopy and less lumpy. So there's that as well. And so I'm coming to the end of blue, which is the right hand bit of warp, and so when I start again I'll use the grey instead of the black. I do like it better. Okay, so I'm probably I'll tell you what, I'll wind this on, because it's so what happens is, once this shed gets this is the shed here, when it gets quite close to the heddle or the reed, then what you need to do is roll it on. So I'll do that now with you, because it's can you see? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is loosen off the thing at the back here, and then roll this on whilst keeping the tension on the back roller. I'll just roll, and there you are. The last of my cardboard has fallen out. So it won't be long now before we're taking this piece off. Okay, so let me see. Yeah, I think I can get maybe 1 or 2 more rows of the blue in, then I'll start again with the grey. The other thing I've noticed is it's very good for listening to music, listening to podcasts, watching stuff on the telly. It's very good to have that stuff in the background. I did a little neat stitch that I found online. I found a lovely little tutorial about how to do a neat bind off here. There's also lots of tutorials about how to make fringes, but this is going to be a cushion, and so it doesn't need a fringe. Maybe it doesn't need a fringe. So I've got to the end now, and I'm excited now to be cutting off. I'm just wondering where's the best place. You stay there and I'll stay here. I'm going to cut this warp off now, here, and take out the heddle. And then, I'll take I'll just free that break there, and then here we have my weaving. Oh my word, oh my word, it's much longer than I thought it was going to be. It's really long. So here is the piece of weaving I've done. I'm really pleased with it. There's so many errors, so many mistakes, and so many things that I would do differently. But isn't that what learning how to do something is all about? Just trying something new and then planning how you would change it next time. And so when I did the second half of this, and I picked up from here and started doing narrower strips, which I like very much, but also when I switched out the black weft threads for grey ones, which I like the colour changed there very much. I think the black up here is very harsh. I don't like black very much in things, and so I think that's a bit harsh. So I have the top half here where the loopy edges are not very good, but then the more I got into this, the more I got further down, the edges are a little neater and I'm a bit more pleased with them. I think the tension of it's pretty good. Yeah, I won't use this yarn again for weaving because of the breakages. The weft just wasn't strong enough, so that's a big lesson that I've learned there. Up at the top here, the first part here, let's look at this a bit. I really like how the colours, so I have my 5 colours, black, pink, green, cream and blue. And then I really love it when you get the blue with the blue, the cream with the cream, and the green with the green, and the pink with the pink, the black with the black. But then I love when these other colours come through. So the pink and blue here, that's lovely. And then of course the green coming through on all these other colours as well. The green and white, the green and pink, a very good match there. I love that blue, motley blue there. So I'm really enjoying how that looks. Yeah, there's loads and loads I've learned about doing this, loads. And as for a first piece, I'm really quite pleased with it. So we'll see whether it makes it into the cabin to be a cushion in my cabin colours, because that's what this is with these yarns. And I will already, I'm thinking about the next warp that I'm going to choose. Never choose this warp again, but the next stuff I'll use to warp up and the next project I might make. Because of course this could be it could be a cushion, it could be a table runner, it could be a scarf. It would be a really very nice scarf. It's plenty long enough to be a scarf. But it also could be just fabric, part of something that I could sew together and make myself a waistcoat or a jacket or something. I don't know. I don't know. There's so much possibility now with this very simple loom, the Ashford rigid Heddle Loom. So I definitely recommend you look at the Ashford website. There's so many lovely things there. And I remember going to visit the factory in New Zealand 13 years ago. I went to New Zealand and I went and had a look around the Ashford factory and the shop. It was amazing. Anyway, that's all for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed making this fabric. And I'll be back again here at the Lastonia House with something else, maybe weaving, maybe something else. And I look forward to sharing that with you. So if you've enjoyed this video, give us a like and all those things, and subscribe if you haven't, all of those things. But I'll be back here soon with something else to share with you. For now though, I'm going to sew the other end of this. I'm going to do the hem stitch on here now, so that this end doesn't come unravelled. Very, very bad. I won't show you that end, it's not very good. Okay, there we go. Fantastic. Are you still watching my weaving video? If you are, I'm going to add this little bit onto the end. Now, I'm down in the cabin because I want to make this 12-inch cushion out of the weaving that I did. So, sadly, it's not quite 12 inches. This was the first attempt at weaving, and I didn't measure my warp threads, the width of my warp well enough. So it's not a 12-inch width, and even if I was to squash it in, I don't think it would make a very good cushion. So I came down to the cabin with it. I've got the basket of yarn that I made the cushion from, and I was thinking about how I can make this into a wide enough piece of fabric to make my 12-inch cushion. These are all just experiments in different kinds of textile art, and so what I decided I would do to make this weaving wide enough to fit my cushion, I thought I would crochet an edge onto it. So I've done 3 rows of double crochets here, and then I'm going to do 3 rows on 12 inches. I'm going to do 3 rows here up to here. I've chosen the narrow strips to make the cushion, and I'm going to do that bit of crochet now. And when I've done that, I'm thinking it'll be wide enough to make into my 12-inch cushion. You almost won't notice the edge, but if you do, it'll be like a little decorative edge. So I'll do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. Oh, and the eagle-eyed among you will notice that I've actually got another bit of weaving around my neck here. This is my second project on the loom, that I did on the loom, and this is a lovely scarf that I made. I didn't film any of this. I did film me taking it off the loom, but I just got on and wove that, and it's so lovely and toasty and warm. Anyway, I'm going to crochet this now, and I'll show you the cushion at the end.